ordinary until you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
For joining us this hour on CoreTV News, I'm Nifemi Ogunsoye. Nigeria's oil workers have called off the nationwide strike after a long-drawn meeting with government officials and representatives of some oil companies. The meeting, which began on Thursday evening in Abuja, ended at about 6 a.m. on Friday with the signing of a communique on the resolution. But before the contentious issues were trashed out, leader of the government team and supervising Minister of Labour, Kabiru Turaki, urged the two unions to always put national interest above individual concerns. The oil workers on their part were glad that their grievances were addressed. A communique issued at the end of the meeting showed that most of the contentious issues were trade disputes with international oil companies and oil service firms. The unions, however, included the non-passage of the Petroleum Industry Bill, national security and bad roads on the list of grievances that led to the strike. Members of the Nigerian Union of Journalists and their colleagues in the Radio, Television, Theatre and Art Workers Union have also suspended the three-day nationwide warning strike. They have, however, resolved to continue the action in states where the agreement on certain allowances are yet to be implemented. NUJ President Mohammed Garba and his Ratau counterpart Oluyemisi Bangbushe, who announced this at a joint press briefing in Abuja, also called on their members to resume work on Friday. This, they say, is because union leaders have committed themselves to an agreement that will pave way for the workers' demands to be met. The joint action by NUJ and Ratawu began a few days ago, but has crippled business operation in federal government-owned media outfits across the country. Some of the grievances of the unions are poor funding and decaying infrastructure in public electronic media outfits, lackluster state of preparedness for transition to digital broadcasting in Nigeria by June 2015, low patronage by government agencies, poor remuneration in public media, as well as collection of radio television license fees by local governments. Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Atahiru Jega, has called for the deployment of unarmed security personnel during the 2015 general elections across the country. He says the commission has enjoyed a remarkable increase in the area of electoral policing during the last governorship elections in some states. Jega is also keen on reassuring Nigerians that discussions are ongoing on measures to be adopted for internally displaced persons in the Northeast to cast their votes. The INEC chairman was speaking at a pre-election program organized by the police in Abuja.
I assure you all, will be one of the most peacefully conducted national elections witnessed in Nigeria. All Nigerians and indeed the international community at large are interested in seeing that these elections are not only safe and secure, but are also free, fair, and credible. We need the understanding and full cooperation of all stakeholders to make this a reality. The task of providing adequate security during the electoral process is one of the most daunting challenges confronting security agencies today. The Nigeria Police Force, being a lead agency, will, with the cooperation and assistance of sister agencies, do everything that can be possibly done to secure the electoral officers, escort electoral materials, protect electoral venues, and the electorate, among other roles of ensuring the success of the whole electoral process.
We cannot afford to slide back. We must have to keep improving in order to ensure that the 2015 general elections are much, much better than the 2011 general elections. Security agencies, not just the police, but all security agencies, have primary roles and responsibilities in ensuring free, fair, and peaceful elections. What you do, what you help us do, will determine what we are able to do in those areas that have serious security challenges. And we need to keep on working together. Right now, the key question that is on everybody's mind is, what do you do with IDPs, the internally displaced persons, particularly in the 3 states under emergency? Or indeed, how can you conduct elections safely and securely in these 3 emergency states?
The All Progressives Grand Alliance, APGA, has adopted President Goodluck Jonathan as its presidential candidate for the 2015 election. The motion was moved by the Deputy Governor of Anambra State, Nkemo Keke, and seconded by Chairman of APGA in Bauchi State, Adamu Musa, at a convention in Oka, the Anambra State capital. Party Chairman Victor Ume said the choice was necessitated by the need for a leader who is a binding force that would advance national unity, as well as a calm president in the face of hostilities. He added that APGA was supporting Jonathan's second term in office because he pledged to implement the 600 recommendations of the recently concluded National Conference, which it believed could sustain the future of Nigeria. The convention also adopted 4 recommendations of its own constitution, recently concluded National Conference, which it believed could sustain the future of the country. The All Progressives Congress has named Rivers State Governor Rotimi Amechi as the Director General of its presidential campaign, a day after it announced Professor Yemi Osinbajo as its vice presidential candidate. APC spokesman Lai Mohammed revealed this in a statement issued in Lagos. The party said it opted for Governor Amechi because of his outstanding reputation as a man of courage and principle, as well as his administrative prowess and organizational skills. APC also thanked Nigerians for their support toward the success of its convention, the emergence of Buhari as the APC presidential candidate, and the choice of Professor Osinbajo as his running mate. The party is convinced that it had lived to its promise to ensure that the choice of its presidential running mate would be made within the context of the best democratic ideals. Senate President David Mark and Catholic Archbishop of Abuja, Cardinal John Onayekon, have advised members of the political class to respect the wishes of the people in the 2015 general election. They also urged politicians to desist from acts that are capable of overheating the polity in the run-up to the election. Both leaders, according to a statement issued by the Chief Press Secretary to the Senate President Paul Mume, spoke on the sidelines of a Christmas carol on Wednesday night in Abuja. Cardinal Onayekon stressed that violence and rancor could cease to be part of Nigerian politics if politicians play by the rules and allow the people to decide who they want to govern them. Some members of the All Progressives Congress want the party to drop its governorship candidate in Katsina State, Aminu Bello Masari, who presented a fake certificate. They've also threatened to go to court to seek Masari's disqualification from the 2015 election if the party goes ahead to feud him. The former Speaker of the House of Representatives, in a letter addressed to the APC chairman, John Odige Oyego, by their lawyer, Festus Keyamo, the members claimed that the postgraduate diploma certificate presented by the candidate was for a non-existent course. They argued that an inquiry was made in 2011 when Masari was the governorship candidate of the Congress for Progressive Change to Middlesex Polytechnic in the United Kingdom, and a response showed that there was no course like water quality control and management. And back in Lagos, the leadership of the PDP there has described the action and allegations made by one of the losers at the party's recent governorship primary in the state, Musiliu Obanikoro, as anti-party and uncalled for, especially coming from a member who has benefited immensely for the party. Chairman of the party in Lagos, Tunde Shele, says the party wanted a credible candidate that could favorably contest and win the 2015 governorship election. And the PDP has seen that in Jimmy Agbaje. Omotayo Alo was there and filed in this report.
Governorship primary of the People's Democratic Party has not ceased to generate issues, especially following the recent suit filed by defeated aspirants Musiliu Obanikoro, who accused the party of irregularities at the election and called for a rerun. The Lagos PDP chairman Tunji Shele described the accusation by Obanikoro as belated and unfounded, adding that the accuser has not exhibited enough credibility.
We once had ad hoc delegate elections a form was supposed to be sent to Lagos from Abuja to collate the results. To the best of our knowledge, he manipulated the process. They didn't bring the real result sheets to Lagos. They brought a fake one and kept the original for him to fill in his own delegates, most of them miscreants. We discovered it, raised an alarm, and that exercise was cancelled. That's why we had to do another ad hoc delegate primary congress.
For his part, the deputy chairman of the party in Lagos, Olakpino, says the election Obanikoro is making so much noise about was conducted in the freest and fairest manner and see no reason why it is so hard for him to accept defeat.
It was at a stage, probably when somebody realizes that somebody else's votes is getting, more. That is where the problem starts. The bottom line is that most of us are bad losers. Whatever process that is put in place is only credible when we win. So we have stated our own part of the issue, but now I learned somebody has gone to court.
The Lagos PDP chairman also stamped Agbaje as the party's choice for the governorship poll ahead 2015 and vows it would be giving all the necessary support.
And we want a credible candidate. And in Jimmy Agbaje, we have found a credible, sellable, and competent candidate who can win Lagos election.
Meanwhile, all the stalwarts of the party have also enjoined Obanikoro to accept defeat and refocus his energy on pro-party activities. Omotayualo, CoreTV News, Lagos.
In Kaduna State, some residents there are hailing the decision of the All Progressives Congress to opt for Muhammadu Buhari as its presidential candidate. Many of them told CoreTV News that APC choice of the former head of state means that the People's Democratic Party needs to work harder to convince them that he has a better candidate. They however want the Independent National Electoral Commission to do more to live up to the expectations of Nigerians for a free and fair process.
That has passed. Now we know he's still struggling to get it. We know something good is going to come out from this. Then he possibly wins the seat. But in as much as the ex-president, Umar Musaya, he did well in the press sector as well.
Either Jonathan wins, or Buhari wins, or any other person that is running for the presidential slot. But I can assure you that this is our country. We are not panicked, we are not scared, because we know that God, who has been seeing us through, will definitely see us through this time around. I think Buhari's emergence is good for democracy because we now have a healthy competition, so to say. Buhari had competed before, but on a different platform. This time around, I think he's having more credibility based on those that are around him this time around. So, of course, you cannot wave aside the power of incumbency. You cannot wave aside the power of PDP. All of us, we know what it means to be a PDP flag bearer.
You're watching CoreTV News live from Lagos. We'll take another break, and I'll be back with more stories. Don't go away.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digi360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
Welcome back. You can also get all of our top stories on any of our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/CoreTV News. Our Twitter handle is @CoreTV News NG. We're streaming live on YouTube. It's youtube.com/CoreTV. Leave a space. news. The Nigerian authorities have warned the public on plans by Boko Haram insurgents to carry out major attacks on soft targets during the Utah period. Coordinator of the National Information Center, Michael Mary, says intelligence reports show that the targets include bus terminals, motor parks, places of worship, as well as recreational centers. Omeri is also the Director General of the National Orientation Agency. He, however, assures Nigerians that security agencies have been directed to increase surveillance across the country. He also wants the citizenry to be vigilant and cooperate with security forces to ensure a hitch-free festive season.
The year 2014 gradually comes to an end. Nigerians have been advised to be very security conscious, especially during the end of the year festivities. Already, security agencies have been intimated of plans by insurgents to carry out major attacks against soft targets during this period. These targets include motor parks, churches, schools, mosques, recreational centers such as amusement parks and viewing centers, among others. The aim is to exploit the festive period with the attendant mass gatherings for religious programs, school end-of-year parties and activities, including family picnics, to cause large-scale destruction of lives and property.
He has now returned to Gumsuru village in Damboa local government area of Borno State after gunmen reportedly killed 33 people while also kidnapping about 100 others, mostly women and children. Report has it that the attack took place last Friday, but the news made its way out after some of the survivors made their way to Maiduguri, the state capital. Although no one has claimed responsibility yet, the attack, according to the reports, bore the hallmarks of Boko Haram, which adopted more than 200 women in April from a secondary school in Chibok, 24 kilometers, about 15 miles from the site of this latest attack. Maina Chibok, who did not witness the attack but is from Gumsuru and visited a family there shortly afterwards, says the insurgents came in pickup trucks, sprayed the town with bullets from AK-47s and machine guns, and security source also confirmed that more than 100 women and children had been abducted, with 35 people killed, including the district head. A youth vigilante from the area, Aliyu Maman, also says that there was no security presence to stop the militants who stayed in the town all night before leaving. Meanwhile, Boko Haram leader Abubakar Shekau was threatening to attack the emir of Kano, Muhammadu Sanusi II, in a newly released video. The 20-minute footage, which was posted online, showed a man who claimed to be Shekau speaking in Arabic, Hausa, and Kanuri languages. He specifically condemned Sanusi for calling on Nigerians to defend themselves against the insurgents at a prayer meeting in Kano. The mosque where he delivered the anti-Boko Haram message was attacked almost exactly 1 week later. Shekau described Sanusi as a fake Muslim and threatened that he would be attacked. He, however, did not mention the gun and bomb attack on the Kano Central Mosque, so it's not clear whether the video was released before or after the attack that killed at least 100 people. President Goodluck Jonathan has flagged off the nationwide workers' housing scheme in Abuja with a groundbreaking ceremony for 100,000 units in the Apo Tapi district of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Speaking at the occasion, the president says his administration plans to deliver 100,000 housing units under the scheme in the Federal Capital Territory and 36 states of the Federation. He commended organized labor for partnering with the government in providing shelter for Nigerian workers, but also called on the unions to exploit all avenues of negotiations before going on strike.
I'm glad to know that the framework of the project being flagged off today is the first of its kind and firmly in the spirit of the transformation agenda. This has been embedded as a component of the social safety net programs of our SHOPE and is yet another gain from the SHOPE, a major player in the provision of infrastructure within the SS through funding support. And of course, we're already discussing with the FT Minister, even as we sit, how we'll make the roads very, using the SHOPE funds to assist in terms of the road network. This is all to bring down the cost of the houses and make sure that the environment, the district is a district that people will want to come and live happily.
Mr. President, Nigerian workers will continue to remain indebted to you because when you made the pledge, you also followed it up. I have not heard this from the Minister of the FCT. I have not heard it from the Minister of State of FCT. I have not also heard it from the Permanent Secretary. But Mr. President, from our own means of getting information, we were able to have a part of a conversation that ensued between you, Mr. President, and the FCT Minister, maybe with 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 other people around you, where you are now giving orders that land should be now given for this purpose, for building houses for Nigerian workers. And this area was cited. Mr. Minister, don't be offended. It's like Mr. Minister said, Your Excellency, I've already earmarked that area for some governors and some senators. And Mr. President said, are governors and senators better than Nigerian workers? Please give them that land.
In recent times, the Lagos State Governor Babátúndé Fáṣọlá has taken advantage of major public appearances to remind all that cares about the need for change of power at the center. He reaffirmed his position when he assured Nigerians of stable electricity supply if the APC is voted into government in 2015. Fáṣọlá made this known at the swearing-in of 3 new judges of the State High Court. Abiola Oluwole completes the story as presented from our studios.
The event is coming exactly 27 days after the swearing-in of 4 High Court judges in the state. After ratifying the appointment of the new High Court judges, which according to the state governor is a continuation of the ongoing reform in the state judiciary, Fáṣọlá says voting APC in the next general elections will put an end to epileptic power supply in Nigeria.
The unending issues of diesel and generator Did I hit a right note there? Don't worry, there will be diesel, but more importantly, there will be light. There will be power in this country, because this country will change.
The State Chief Judge Oluwafunmilayo Atilade urged the newly sworn judges to see the elevation as a call to duty.
I charge you, therefore, to live above board and to always conduct yourselves in accordance with the ethics of the profession. Let the oath of office which shall be administered to you in the next few minutes remain your guide as you discharge your constitutional responsibilities.
The new judges include Adeola Akintoye, Olabisi Ogunbesan, and Abdulafiz Adamson. Lagos State High Court now has 57 judges.
Outside Nigeria, Russia's President Vladimir Putin has moved to quell fears of economic collapse while also vowing rapid recovery from the worst financial crisis of his rule, but stressed that his position on Ukraine has not changed. Speaking at an annual news conference, the Russian leader says the economic downturn will last 2 years at most and promised to support the poorest section of the population. He, however, indicated that the economic gloom has not swayed his stance on Ukraine, accusing the West of behaving like an empire while also comparing Russia to a bear who is under attack and fighting for survival. He added that efforts by the central bank and government, including a record hike of the key interest rate and spending billions to stabilize the ruble, have been absolutely reasonable and in the right direction, although they could have come quicker. The Russian president had remained silent earlier this week on the ruble crash, which led Russians to rush to exchange their savings and splurge at stores to dump their devaluing national currency ahead of the expected price hikes. And that wraps up this hour on CoreTV News. Join us again at the top of the hour for more stories. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. Thanks for being there.